So black has become white, white has become black, and everyone on earth is left nonplussed and completely confused, which is as it should be, because we're not going to get our answers from out there. We're not going to be spoon-fed reason and sanity and coherence by focusing externally on the political landscape or on any landscape out there. So that, again, is what this all comes down to. We can get involved in spiritual philosophy and morality and intellectuality and all that. And we could argue, forever on those subjects, but none of those matter. It's all about Atman. It's all about the flame of the sentient spark within you awakening to your soul covenant, you and me. That's it. That's it. And if every one of us simply owned that quanta, that journey, and said, okay, I'm going to reduce the fucked upness of my life, the chaos of my life. I'm going to reduce that down into a couple of really seminal things like kindness. I'm going to be kind. I'm going to enact right action. I'm going to own pure truth. I'm going to only walk with that noble navigation set in life. And I'm going to seed the garden in this 3D hologram with those living principles, and then see how beautiful your life becomes. Now, if every one of us disentangled from the myth of power, the myth of time, the myth of, culture and civilization and politics and religion, and started to refine the journey back to that quanta of you in the now with your bare feet on the soil, how can you beautify and sanctify life in the now? That's it. That is what we must return to. We're being forced to return to the Adam and the Adamic privilege in that sense, which is a return to innocence.
Yes, amen, brother. I mean, again and again, leaders through this conference have said it in their own ways, and you're saying it again in your way, and it's the deepest, most fundamental feeling I have right now, which is how do we return to our essence, our purity, and how do we actually trust that there's an innate unity there? It's not something that we have to seek outside for. It's something that is already present when we start to self-source and go within. So I think if we can go into that, your wisdom in, how to do that, how to disconnect from these narratives that are keeping us distracted, there's so much potency there.
Well, one doesn't need wisdom to disidentify from evil or from shadow, from the wickedness of the extant 3D world. One doesn't need wisdom to disentangle. One simply needs to do it, to enact it and embody it, right action. We are all born with that navigation set. It's called a human conscience. And we all have that. The most diabolical sociopaths amongst us come into the world with that. Then, of course, there's mutations that occur in utero, in the womb, depending on your mother's psycho-emotional state, you're going to be birthed to one degree or another of being either well or unwell, psychologically, emotionally, and even physically. So, and then you're born into the world and you are immediately poisoned. From the moment you breathe oxygen, some idiot in a white coat spanks you to make you cry, having cut the umbilical cord with a surgical steel, which is about the worst. Yeah, it's about the worst thing you could do, is take surgical steel and that alloy with those isotope frequencies and cut an umbilical cord and disconnect the child from the mother using that medium, is about as savage as it gets. That's the reality of the trial of separation and the trauma.